Because you know how men, like when you say your mom, he's like, ah, and you're like, oh, so you can call me fatty, but I can't call your mom fat. Your mom's fat. Hey girl, hey. How's everyone doing?
Can't answer because it's a podcast.
Pew, pew, pew. I'm Zainab.
I'm Mia.
And we are here.
We are gathered here
We are
today.
gathered here today. Woo, woo.
We never thought we would make it.
You literally say that every episode. Mia's thing is like every episode, she's like, we never thought we'd make it. Do you not believe that we will stick with this?
I do. I just think I almost died today. So for everyone wondering, what's wrong with me? My toe is split open, but I still made it.
Today.
I'm crippled, but I still made it.
She limped her way into...
I crawled my way through the desert for this episode. Crawled my way to see Tat.
This is dedication.
Tat. Što nek Vujana?
Tat, tat. And she made it. She's here. Mm-hmm. She's fighting the fight, the battle piece. For you guys, for our us. 2 viewers.
For my mom and your mom.
Yeah, I think our topic today is exciting, but also might be triggering. So trigger warning.
Yeah, definitely trigger warning. I don't think this is an episode that a lot of people, are going to be surprised that we do for the people that know us, because I think we talk about this quite a lot. But for those that don't know, Zayuni and I today are going to be talking about body image.
Body standards,
beauty standards,
just all of the above. So it might be triggering for some people. So just a warning, just a heads up. But I think we're both in an interesting mood today.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this is going to go, because I feel like it might be really funny, because I feel like I'm the funniest when I'm the most upset.
Same. Like, if I'm on the verge of tears, if I am even like 1% depressed, I just become the funniest version of myself. I'm the best version of myself when I'm sad.
Yeah. That is like, I feel like that is such a water sign thing to say.
Yeah, I'm Sagittarius, but a Cancer moon, and my Cancer moon really kicks in. She's like, you want to cry? Let's make a joke out of it.
Well, I'm a Cancer rising and a Scorpio moon, so I thrive.
By the way, we decided we're going to have an ASMR episode that's going to be not ASMR.
Because
we're not comforting, we're not relaxing. No one listens to our voices. Like, I'm so relaxed.
No,
so good right now. It's like,
people are gonna be not the right. Like, we're probably not gonna do the right triggers, because you know how in ASMR there are like relaxing triggers. We're gonna do the other triggers. Like, we're gonna do the triggers where people just want to bang their head on the wall. Make it stop.
What is this?
Nails scratching on chalk. Like, and we're like, this is ASMR.
Also, we don't have indoor voices.
No, I obviously don't. Yeah,
I think I have a better indoor voice, but I have a high pitched scream.
Yeah,
and I scream all the time.
Scream when you scream. Yeah, and it comes out of nowhere. Like, I could say the like most normal thing.
You trigger me,
and then she's like, sorry, Lara.
Sorry, AirPod Max Pro users. Sorry, rich people.
Mia obviously is hating on the people who have AirPod Max.
Every episode I hate them, because I can't decide whether I want them or not.
I want the green ones. Are so cute. Have you seen them?
I just want the black ones.
So basic.
I just feel like I'm gonna get anxiety if I get any other color. But it doesn't match my outfit, and I know I'll ruin the white ones. There's gonna be like bronzer on the white ones. Like,
oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
With me, like, it's just no. We're not.
I like the green ones for sure.
Aesthetically, like,
so cute.
they're the cutest ones, but it's just, I feel like I can't
Apple
wear blue.
Sponsor us.
Apple sponsor the pod.
We're like begging for sponsors every single episode. It's so bad.
every episode, the first
we're not that
minutes,
desperate. Actually, we're fine. Lies.
The first 5 minutes of every episode is
we're literally just gonna waste the first 10 minutes talking shit. Anyways, let's get into it before we go on 500 tangents of nonsense. Of literally nothing. We talk about everything but say nothing.
we should have an episode. We should have an episode.
Just miscellaneous. It's miscellaneous. It's like whatever folders.
Flow. It's a free flow episode. There's like free flow yoga and then there's free flow talking.
Free flow. No, like, don't you have like folders in your head where you put things?
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of stuff that just doesn't make sense, so it just floats
and there's
around.
A bunch of it's like flying around like a paper in the wind. Thoughts, traumas.
Like, what do I do with this? What
leave it. Just leave.
So we're gonna do an episode where we actually explore those. And it's gonna be wild. We'll probably get canceled.
We'll get death threats after that episode. If
we'll probably get death threats by this one or the last one, or anytime we talk about men.
3 seconds and after we're like, hey, sponsors, death threats. We've offended everyone.
All right.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with
so unserious and unprofessional, Zainab.
I apologize. I'm trying here. I'm trying my best. But okay, let's start. Beauty standards. Very heavy topic. I think there's a lot that we want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna fit it into one episode, but I know you wanted to start off by talking about the male gaze.
Yeah. Because I think I feel like I definitely grew up in, as a child, a world where media was probably dictated by men. I feel like I definitely grew up in more of a male gaze era, as opposed to now, where I feel like nowadays we're not so like, women don't just have to be one thing, which is like hot and pretty and like by the standards of men. Do
you think so?
I think a lot less. I definitely think a lot less. I mean, I definitely grew up in the you have to be white, blue-eyed, blonde, a Victoria's Secret angel.
Oh my god,
size 0.
Yeah.
So
you were a teen in the 2010s, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like in the 2010s is when the body positivity movement started. I grew up in an era where there literally was a beauty standard called heroin chic.
I got the butt end of that though. As like a small child. But the thing is, so I think coming from Europe, our body standard, our beauty standard or body standard, whatever you want to call it, remained very Eurocentric.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a lot of body positivity. I was always, if not the only Arab.
I think until recently, like, they're still not body positive, especially in France. Because I remember I saw this, do you know Stefania something? I think she's an Australian model. She's curvier. She works with Dita Vontees.
I think you've shown her to me.
I think I told you about this once, and there was this French TV show or whatever that were talking about her and saying how like she's so big and she's not your normal model size. And this girl, I swear to you, I think she's like a size 6 or a size 8. And they were like, oh, she's like a big girl, she's whatever, because she's curvier. And to me that was insane, because I think European people in general have slender, taller like frames anyway.
I mean, you don't really see European girls that are curvy all that often. They exist, but like even slim, thick, it's not necessarily the Eurocentric standard.
No, it's not.
So I think I grew up a lot in that, and it really like messed me up as a teenager, because I wasn't white, I wasn't blonde, and I was pale but with dark hair, and I had like a very Middle Eastern body. Yeah. And I felt very not okay in my own skin.
Yeah.
And I mean, up to now, like I'm like in my tanning era. Like I go when I tan. Why? Because like I feel better when I'm tan. I feel more confident. Like there's nothing wrong with tanning, you know, wear SPF. But
oh my god, my mom hated when I would go tanning when I was younger. Yeah. And it was like a beauty standard that like for I think her older generation, her generation was that if you were paler, it was more beautiful. And then I would go to school, and I remember this girl one time was like, looking at my legs and pee, and she was like, oh my god, you're so pale, you're like Casper, why don't you just go tan, blah blah blah. And obviously, like, I love tanning. Maybe that did have an impact on me, because I was like, oh, I'm too pale, even though like I'm not white, but for Kuwait standards, I was considered like paler. So
yeah, I mean, you saw me, I'm white.
Yeah,
so, like,
no,
I'm so happy to be tan right now.
Like, I used to like not tan, I used to peel, and then I don't know, I did something to my skin.
You broke the seal.
Yeah, melanin.
Melanin. Don't you dare melon out.
That's so stupid. I love it.
Horrible.
But yeah, you were saying.
But yeah, I think it's nice now, because I do think we have female artists that don't necessarily look like every other girl. It was so rare to see someone that wasn't a size 2.
Yeah.
That it was nice. But I mean, beyond that, like just ranges of sizes, like from 0 to 20, like there's no shame in having range, but I think we didn't have range.
We did not have range, like, especially I think in the
we don't
early
range
2000s.
now, by the way.
We have better range. I will say that from my experience, like, especially like being a teenager in the early 2000s, that was so damaging, honestly. Like, being a teenager, especially having PCOS, for those of you who don't know what that is, Google it.
Polycystic
Ovarian syndrome. Yes. But yeah, obviously, you know, it affects your weight and everything, because it's a hormonal disorder. So if your hormones are off, obviously it's gonna affect your weight. So I remember immediately when I hit puberty, I just blew up. And wrong time to have that happen to you know what I mean? And like, at that time, we used to look at like people like Lindsay Lohan, Nicole Richie.
But when she started her career, right, she had like a very normal, healthy, gorgeous body. All of a sudden, she like dropped.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Same Nicole Richie season 1.
You would
Simple
literally
Life.
see bones, and it was normal.
But remember Nicole Richie Simple Life season 1 looks a specific way.
She was
season
a little
2. Like, a skeleton.
Yeah, it was scary. And then like you had Mary Kay Olsen as well.
Ashley.
So those were our fashion icons back in the day.
Heroin chic,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you had to be like slender, obviously like pale, like literally like it was a tongue-in-cheek term where it was like a play on words, but you heroin meaning like you literally looked like you were frail, like you were doing drugs, you know what I mean? And that was celebrated. Like, that is horrible. And I love how like kids now glorify like the early 2000s, like the Y2K. They try to like, you know, like they're so inspired by that and they think it was a better time, but
it was horrible. A dark time.
It was such a dark time, especially for us as teenagers. And I remember like going shopping and not being able to find anything that fits, because I was a size 16 US girl, and I would like, we would go to the States every summer, and obviously it was more options there. I think they were not as inclusive as they are now, but they're definitely more inclusive in Kuwait. And I think even now in the Gulf region, I still don't think we're very inclusive. We can get into that conversation in a little bit, but it was such a struggle. And I remember feeling like shit because I wanted to wear cute clothes, but I couldn't find them, because for bigger girls, you're not allowed to look cute. So you're only supposed to wear things that cover you up. And obviously like it makes you feel a certain type of way. So you look at thinner girls and you're like, oh my god,
in order for me to dress cute, I have to be skinny. I think that was what society was pushing on. And I think as a kid, when you're watching, like what I said, like the male gaze, like when you're watching movies, TV shows, music videos, right, every other person, every other woman is skinny, hot, blonde, like in my case they're tanned type of beauty. And so forget not finding your size. It's like really like looking at TV, it's like, well, I don't exist, I'm not represented though, so I'm not beautiful because I don't look like that, you know?
Exactly.
I think that was probably the hardest part of growing up.
It was tough, especially like
we're
in
invisible.
The early 2000s, like 90s and 2000s, there was really no
one looked like us.
Size inclusivity representation. Like it was not that. And even like in shows, they would make fun of women's weight, and it was like normal.
On John Tucker Must Die, I don't know if you remember the movie. I remember.
Do you know what I'm gonna say? No, tell me.
So John Tucker has like this underwear that he finds, and he says like, I would never sleep with a girl that wears a medium. She's fat.
Oh, I could so see that. Like, yeah, for sure.
I don't remember exactly the scene, and I don't know if I'm misquoting it. I don't know if like John Tucker himself said it or someone else said it, but I'm pretty sure it's in that movie that he says that, and I don't know why. Like, it always stuck with me. Yeah. And I'm like in my 20s now, and I still remember something that was in my teens. You know, it's so weird.
Yeah, because those things stick with you, especially as a teenager, because you know it's
the same with Sex and City.
Yes, imagine
Samantha
when
she gains weight. Remember? And she wasn't,
you know, she didn't even gain weight. They made her wear tighter clothes just so that she looks, because remember in that episode where she and then the girls are like like they're gasping. And
how are your friends gasping because you've gained weight? What?
And that was crazy.
I was like, normalized body shaming, like, oh hey, you look fat.
Yeah.
What?
And that's the thing, because like also during that time it was normal for other women to comment about your body. And for me, obviously, because I was surrounded by a lot of women, like I said last episode, like I have 5 aunts, I have a lot of girl cousins, so
can't
obviously
relate.
Being the
sorry, only my men,
being the biggest one out of like the girls that were my age, and not being able to like dress the way they do, obviously was damaging. And then you get like a lot of people commenting like or giving you advice, unsolicited advice on how to lose weight, and you're just like, how am I gonna do that with this, like, you know, like hormonal disorder that I have? Like, I was put on fucking birth control when I was 14. That messes up your hormones as a 14-year-old. So obviously I had a lot of water retention,
a lot of things, including your mental health. Yeah, which I'm sure as a teenager
I remember like how much my weight, like I literally tied my weight to my self-worth. That's how bad it was. I don't remember it now. I'm glad like I've fought that. Like I really went through it for a very long time, and then I don't know what happened and how it happened and when it happened. I don't know if it was gradual or if it was like a click where I just went, this is the body that I've been given. I am literally doing my best. Like I work out, I try to eat healthy, I try to do like, you know, things that help me maintain my health. But you know, like I'm not gonna be sad that this is the body that I have and put it through like extreme procedures or whatever just to look a certain way for people to think, or for me to fit people's beauty standards that are most likely like their own projections of their insecurities. Exactly. And I'm glad I did, but like it does also break my heart, because like I look around and I see girls around me who I think are the most beautiful. Like I would see them and I would be like, they're flawless. And then like I just realize how insecure they are, and it hurts so much because I know you're getting emotional.
Crying episode.
But yeah, because like and is it okay if I talk about so earlier this morning, like you were also going through something like that, and you asked me like if I was like disappointed, and I was like, no, like I was upset for you, because it hurts to see your sisters and your friends go through this, like literally like, you know, beating yourself up because of these ridiculous beauty standards, because people think it's okay for them to tell you how you should look, or you know, like what's wrong with you or what they don't like about you. And honestly, it's like I think like I really do believe that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I always say like if someone's gonna judge me based on the way I look, then I don't want that
anything to do with them. No, you know what it is? I think when you feel unattractive and you don't feel beautiful, or you're just having like one of those days, 10,000 people saying, oh, you look amazing, you're so beautiful, you're so, all of this does nothing.
It does nothing
because the voice inside your head is always going to be louder. as people, we'll always remember the one bad comment. We'll always remember the bullying. We'll always remember every single bad thing. But the good stuff, it just goes in one ear and out the other.
I agree with you. And honestly, like, I went through this recently because I'm most of the time pretty confident. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so
I'm nervously fidgeting.
Most of the time I'm pretty confident, and I learned I'd say in my mid 20s, I remember one day I told myself, because I used to have no confidence. In high school, I was such a loser. I hated myself so much that I was so ashamed of going out. I didn't want to go out. I hated going out. I wanted to stay home. I even remember when we used to travel. It's fine. Like, I can joke about it now. I remember I got into this argument with my dad one time because we were stopped at a Subway or some restaurant, and I was so shy, I couldn't even order my own food. Can you imagine? And I told my dad, I was like, can you order it for me? And he was like, no, you have to do it. Because I think my family got tired of speaking on my behalf, because I just was so insecure. I hated myself so much. And I didn't know that that's what I was going through. And I remember he was like, no, you're going to do it. I'm sure in his head, he was like, I'm going to teach her a lesson. And we had an argument in the middle of Subway. In the middle of America. and he was like, if you're not going to order it, you're not getting food. And I was like, fine. And I just go walk into the car. And I don't think my family understood why I felt that way. But obviously, when everyone's talking about the way you look, about why you gained so much weight, about how you're the biggest person, you go shopping and it's not a very pleasant experience. And you always dream of that day when you're going to be slim or you know what I mean? Like thin or whatever. And then I think I reached a point where I decided I am just going to fake confidence until I make it. Obviously, I fluctuated. There was a time when I lost a lot of weight. I was on very unhealthy diets. And obviously, I don't recommend that. And then I would gain weight and I would lose weight and whatever. And I just decided that I was going to fake confidence until I make it. And I actually believed it. At some point, literally became so confident, and it used to shock me, like when people are like, oh, you're so confident. I was like, oh.
I think it's shocking, people are like, oh, you're so confident, because the beauty standard is dictated by men.
Yeah. And
that's crazy, because how is the beauty standard for women dictated by men? But it's because there's
the male gaze. There you go.
I mean, it's really in a lot of things,
Yeah.
I do think it's getting better. I do think society, the media, like everyone's sort of like, girls during Corona were like, getting dolled up and it was like, hey, this is the evidence that we don't do it for you guys, we do it for us.
Actually, like I honestly do feel there is this power that comes with like getting dolled up, doing your hair, doing your makeup, doing your nails,
and like dancing in your room,
doing whatever you want. And it's not for anyone. I actually did do those when I was younger. I used to perform
in your room,
imaginary audience. I don't lie, I swear everybody did that. I am 100%
if you didn't do that
and you did not use your hairbrush as a microphone,
hairbrush or shampoo bottle, exactly. Or like whatever everything was my microphone. Literally. I think people who didn't there's a problem. If you were not a performer, what were you doing?
If you were not performing to an imaginary audience in your room, you were not living.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do definitely feel that there is a more diverse representation of bodies in the media currently. But also, I do feel like there is a standard now of beauty. And I wrote this down, actually. I think it's actually according to my calculation. I am so prepared with my notes here. I'm like strolling because I had a lot to say, but I want to organize my thoughts, when it comes to this, because
organize your thoughts, boo.
Like I have, it's obviously a very, it's a heavy topic on both of us. I think now I'm in a good place, but literally a month ago, I remember when I had a few comments being said to me, like literally online and in person, people I don't even know. Like one time when I was with you, remember we were at the mall and we were just literally walking, minding our own business, and this stupid dumb kid
This guy still can't believe he said that.
Like I don't even want to go there. I don't know if we're gonna get canceled if I say this. Can I say this?
I don't know. I want to like describe him, but it's like, if anyone sees this kid, beat him up.
I'm just gonna say his mustache didn't even grow in. I'm pretty sure the only 16 female attention that he's gotten was probably from his mother. Yeah, and he like. He was just wearing a NASA shirt. I think that just concludes everything. So he just walks past me and he goes like, "Ya bata," or like basically, which means like fatty or something like that. And I remember, like, usually I'm very vocal, like I'm ready to fight, you know me. But I think also coming back from
so shocked. I think that's the problem because I also have a lot of clapback.
Yeah,
but I think we were just so shocked, like. How is
I just wanted to say your mom. Kid? Yeah. I literally wanted to just go over to and be like your mom, because you know how men like when you say your mom, he's like, ah, and you're like, oh, so you can call me fatty, but I can't call your mom fat. Your mom's fat.
Tat is laughing, by the way. It's just really want everyone to know Tat is laughing in silence.
Your mom's fat. And how is that even an insult? I don't get what, but it works. But no, I'm not gonna lie and say that, like, even though, you know, regardless, it was a stupid kid, but like because of the things that have been said to me, like in that month alone, you remember, like I was in Turkey and I had 2 fat shaming incidents from like random people. People think that they can look down on people who are bigger. You know what I mean?
Such a like thinking. I mean, I was on the phone with you and I was crying because of what you were saying.
Yeah, which is and I noticed you get so emotional more than I do about the things that happen to me, and like even the comments that I got online. Remember that girl on TikTok who was like, what did she say? She was like, I mean, in Arabic it's more backhanded. If I say it in English, it's not that.
Yeah, it doesn't translate as well in English, I think.
But basically, it's like. Oh, I wish I was as confident as you, laughing emoji, or like, oh God bless me or give me your confidence, a quarter of your confidence, and laughing emoji. I think at times I have to remind myself that people are just not used to seeing a girl who does not fit the general beauty standard.
Who's not a Victoria's Secret angel.
Who's not a Victoria's Secret angel, who is so comfortable in her skin, who is so confident with who she is. And honestly, like, not that I'm doing this for anyone, but men find that attractive too. Women find that attractive too. Like, people in general just find that attractive when someone is confident and so comfortable in their own skin, and you know, like, they're not affected by the ridiculous beauty standards. So they try to tear you down because they can't be like that. And I really believe what she said. I'm sure this woman, like, you poor girl, I wonder what goes on through your head that you actually are so insecure that you have to go on someone's TikTok and comment that to make them feel bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you get more hate from men or women?
Women.
You know what's funny? It's like when a man is mean to me, like, I almost like laugh because I'm like, you're so mad. Yeah. Like, you're just you're just like, salty. But when a girl is mean, I'm like, why are you being mean? You know what it's like. You know, exactly. No one knows better than another woman what it's like to go through life being told that you're not good enough, being sold 155 products for 155 things. I swear to God, the media will pull out an insecurity out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we're all insecure about it, and we even know about this prior to the media pointing it out. You know, like,
and not even the media. Like, there's like sometimes summer body. Go shopping. Like, I remember I would walk into Sephora or something, and the sales lady in Kuwait specifically, she would come to me and she would be like, "You have very dark circles. I have just the right cream for you." And I'm like,
and you don't even. I mean, you, whether you do or don't doesn't matter, but it's like she just wants to sell a product.
Exactly. But why are you pointing out an insecurity or shaming me about something? Like, you don't have to do that.
I think I really think it just, like, going back to it, it's like a woman knows that if she says that to you, you're gonna be insecure, and then you will look for a solution.
Yeah.
And that's why sort of when I see women being mean to other women, it baffles me, because we have to go through life not just with all these insecurities, we also have to go through men. you know, like men's comments, men saying things they shouldn't say. Oh my God.
Men like making us feel being unsafe. Rejected. When you reject a man immediately, like I remember this happened to me and my friend, like this guy was trying to talk to her or whatever. And then she was like, Huss, just like leave us alone or whatever. And he was like, oh, you're too fat for me anyways. Like, sir, you were too ugly for me in the first place. So, like that literally, like men getting rejected, like they cannot take rejection well. And then they expect us to take all of this shit that they say about us, like, you know, putting us under a microscope and literally tearing us down, fat shaming, everything, every single
even
thing.
Mommy I find mommy shaming insane. Like, oh, you look fat, which she just gave birth. What are you saying?
Oh, your stretch marks, oh this or that.
It's like, well, the body of a woman will change and will fluctuate, and it's a template.
I don't know. Like, this is what I like, so you need to fit that.
But that is what it boils down to, I think. I say this all the time. Men are allowed to be ugly. Yeah, no, because
we all know you like a medium ugly.
Yeah, because I only like the medium ugly man. I don't like pretty boys. If you're medium ugly, call me. No, but no, it's not that. But men can be ugly and they're funny, and then all of a sudden you'll see like they're with the hottest girl. Yeah, you know, by whatever beauty
because that's the thing. They think that having a hot girl by their side, like it's a trophy. No, like they literally
not that, but like the hot girl will, like the really hot girl that every guy wants, like the dream girl, whatever have you. She will see a guy that makes her laugh and she'll love him for it. A girl has to be everything. If you're pretty but you have no brains, well, you're just a pretty face. If you are brains but no beauty, oh, you know, like you're letting yourself go, babes. Yeah. If you were skinny and you gained a bit of weight, like Samantha in Sex and the City, yeah, how dare you? If you have to be smart, you have to be beautiful, you better be funny, you also
have
cool.
to be a cool girl. Good at doing the housework, like cooking and cleaning and all of that.
And also, like,
you have to be cool.
You have to be naturally slender. Like, you have to be able to go out and eat a burger at like 11 p.m. and like still look amazing the next day and not bloated.
And that brings me to like the current beauty standards that I was telling you about. Like, even though we do see a lot of representation, but you do see that there is a specific standard being pushed, which is flat stomach, big boobs, big butt, and a thigh gap.
Yeah.
And it's still being pushed.
Like, how?
Exactly. And it's like, how am I going to have the curves and a flat stomach and a thigh gap and all of that naturally without getting a cosmetic procedure? And women are putting themselves at risk to achieve that look. Like, it's insane.
So going back to everything goes back to the male gaze today, but going back, do you remember the Victoria's Secret fashion show?
Oh my God, they're bringing them back. Yeah, they're going to be more inclusive.
The Victoria's Secret fashion show growing up, I remember it was, you know, it was really a big event, and
oh my God. Yeah,
you know, looking back, it's insane. I mean, you know, they used to like I think a week before they used to stop eating solid food. Like,
oh my God, they had a video on the Victoria's Secret diet, what they used to do, their workouts, the things that they eat.
They go to the gym twice a day. What?
Yeah.
What? And okay, I'm excited that it's coming back, and I'm excited to see, like, you know, what they're gonna do. But I wonder how they're going to be
inclusive, because even when everybody shifted towards inclusivity, Victoria's Secret didn't jump on that bandwagon. And I think that they waited way too long.
And they kept the people that were the problem in the company for way too long.
They really did. Well. And actually they started pushing out even more slender women on their runway. So I think that kind of was detrimental.
It was damaging.
Like, it was damaging to the brand as a whole. So I'm excited to see how they're gonna do it now. But like back in the day, I remember like how we all used to wait for that show, and we would just like, everybody was like, oh my God, these women are the most gorgeous. We were obsessed.
I remember every year, it was always with a group of friends, boys and girls, just sit there watching it, and it's so crazy to think, because now when I see the videos of them, this is not my body type. This will never be my body type. growing up for me, Kim Kardashian was probably the only celebrity that I thought
but you know, like even
me.
Kim Kardashian, when she came on the scene, everybody was hating on her because she came on the scene when we were still in that heroin
skinny,
chic,
white,
like,
blonde.
skinny white blonde. But also, like, I do want to say something, because I feel like we're talking about body inclusivity, but we're mostly focusing on
women,
not just women, like the bigger body types, but like I also do think that there is the opposite end of the spectrum, where there are women who struggle to gain weight, and that also is another insecurity. And I've had a lot of my girlfriends who go through that, and it's so hard for them, and it's so damaging. And then people would be like, "You look sick. Are you not eating? Eat a burger. You're like, shut up, shut up.
Stop commenting on people's bodies. It doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman. It's none of our business. Stop shaming people for being short. Stop shaming people for being too tall. Stop shaming people for being too skinny, too big, too wide, too narrow, too tanned, not tanned enough.
It literally, like, just let people be.
Khalas.
Let us be. I want to be whoever I want to be. You know what I mean? But also, like, let's talk real quick about Rihanna. I love, you know, I love me some Rihanna. Like, she changed the inclusivity game. Like, she does inclusivity like no one else. Her Fenty beauty shows that she does. Yes! Like, and I think Victoria's Secret should look at Fenty's shows, her shows, and learn what inclusivity is, because she is not just inclusive when it comes to women and size. She's inclusive with everything. Like, she's the
definition of inclusivity.
When I saw those, like the guys who, because we obviously know that there is also a male beauty standard, and a lot of the times when we talk about inclusivity, it's mostly about like women inclusivity, but we don't really see a lot of male inclusivity as well. But Rihanna just did it so well, and it was amazing. Like, I loved seeing all body shapes, colors, types, like everything in her shows, and I just think it's beautiful. Good job, Rihanna. I was so happy to see that, and I think kids these days are not going to appreciate this inclusivity that they have, because I know a lot of kids are still insecure with like social media. Like, trends are, like, beauty trends are very fast, and they are
every week is a new
everywhere.
Trend,
Literally every week is a new trend. Like, they travel so fast, and it's way more damaging, I think, than the way we used to get our trends, which was through beauty magazines. So it's a double-edged sword. Like, while there is inclusivity, there still is an unrealistic body or beauty standard.
I think ultimately, like, my advice for myself, and I think for everyone going forward, is always just treat yourself like you would treat your best friend. You know, like with your self-talk, would you say these things to your best friend? Would you tell your best friend, you look horrible, you look fat, you look this, you look that, you know? No, you wouldn't. You would always.
I mean, some girls do.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is not the podcast for them, but you know, like.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right, but talk to yourself. Some girls will be like, "Oh my God, you've gained so much weight. Are you okay? Are you like?"
Zainab, we this is not the podcast for those girls.
It's not a podcast.
Overall, like, what I mean is,
even if they are, like try to be more mindful of how hurtful your words can come across
to yourself. Like, be your own
too.
best friend. You know, talk to yourself like you would your best friend that you love, that you would never insult.
Also, stop putting so much weight on the way someone looks. Like, okay, obviously, I'm not gonna lie, like, initial attraction is important, but after a while it dies down. Like, if you're just gonna go for someone because of the way they look, like whether it was friends, because I know sometimes people also make friends based on what people look, but I think also, like, men do struggle with, like, having to be super macho or like hyper masculine, you know what I mean? And if they show any other like personality traits other than that, then you're not a man. Be a man. You know what I mean?
Don't cry.
But yeah, I think these type of standards for men also do perpetuate like toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like they have to suppress a lot of traits that are considered feminine, which I realize, like, in our society, anything that is feminine, I'm not talking man or woman, I'm talking about energy. Like, feminine energy is very much attacked. You know what I mean? Whether it was for men or women. And then masculine energy is praised, and that's the ideal, and that's what you should, like, strive for. So
yeah, but I mean, Obviously, I think it would be interesting to revisit this conversation with a man to talk about male beauty standards. But I think ultimately, when I think of...
We don't need a man's opinion. Just how they don't need our opinion when they talk about me.
We'll talk about the way you look without you being in the room.
Like, just be grateful. We're sympathizing with you.
Be grateful. We've acknowledged you exist. You exist.
You exist. You breathe.
You breathe too much. Breathe too loud. Can you breathe a little less loud?
I think that's enough. Just yeah.
No, but I think when I think of male beauty ideal, I do have an idea in mind of what that looks like. And I think it's nice to see that Rihanna has brought on other people, you know, that aren't the stereotypical ideal of a man. Because I can't imagine what it's like for a man to actually feel a certain type of way, because as women we can talk to each other. If I am having a bad day, I have a plethora of girlfriends that are going to sit there and uplift me and all of that. But with men, I think not all of them are comfortable, or there's not really a space for them where they feel comfortable talking about it,
their insecurities. And I think it's normalized for women to feel insecure, but it's not for men.
And you think in relationships, even you can tell your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, I don't feel great, I don't feel this, I don't feel that. And I think, from what I've seen at least, I don't see men voicing as much.
They don't voice it the way we do. Like, we know exactly where our insecurity comes from. Like, we know that it's our body image, but
they overcompensate with something
by
else.
being like, you don't love me enough. Why? They try to control you. They try to be super possessive of you because they're feeling insecure, but they don't know how to voice that.
Or they just go out and buy a supercar.
And you know what's
crazy? Not compensate with a supercar, please. Don't. If you like a car, it's something. Do not compensate for a supercar.
And even the psychology behind, like, men wanting to get a supercar. You know how they always have hot women modeling these cars, and that is the idea that they're selling to men, where it's like, if you get this car, then you're gonna get this girl, the trophy. It's insane.
All right, I wanted to talk about something that relates to this, and I think I actually wrote it down, so I clocked it and I remembered. I also think, and this goes back to what people say, people are always like, love yourself, like, you're a goddess, all this stuff. It's not always very easy to love yourself.
Like, how?
It's not a given.
Like, if you just tell someone, love yourself, how am I gonna do that?
We need to talk more about, like, learning to love yourself, learning to even just start by accepting yourself.
It's not an overnight thing.
No, it's not. It's not linear as well. I think this kind of progress,
agree.
It goes up, it goes down. Sometimes if you're made redundant, I can assure you most people who have been made redundant, like, have gone through some sort of depression afterwards. Some of them, they thrive, they do amazing things afterwards. Some take a moment to get back on their feet. So I think we need to just remember that a lot of things can cause us to not love ourselves all the time.
Exactly,
Just like you don't love your friends all the time. It's very much like, accept that you feel a certain type of way, and I'm not saying lead into it, but just feel it. Because I think when you feel something and you sort of accept that you feel that way, it becomes easier to move forward later on, you know? I know I don't do that. I'm very, everyone knows this, I'm very obvious. I disassociate a lot. And it helps, but I know that sometimes it doesn't, because I'm just ignoring something, and later on it comes back tenfold harder, you know? Like, can you say that tenfold harder? Comes back tenfold?
Tenfold, I guess.
It comes back tenfold. And I think for me now, my challenge as, like, an adult is to genuinely, like, go through things, feel things, because I know that I always come out stronger for it.
Of course.
Rather than, like, avoid it all the time or make a joke out of it, because it's just easier for me, you know? So it's okay if you don't love yourself every day, every moment of every day.
And I
especially
like,
with the filters, like,
I was literally gonna talk about that. Like, you know how when filters first came out, we were all so happy because at first they were like silly. It was like the dog filter. It was whatever. And then it started becoming serious where it was like
plastic surgery filters.
Like plastic surgery filters. And then we would
slimmer nose, slimmer face, slimmer chin, bigger lips. You have the fox eye filter.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you know you have girls who go to a surgeon or a guy that does fillers, whatever, and they're like, I want you to do my face like that filter.
That's crazy.
I saw it on YouTube. There was like a video of a guy being like, hey, girls come with a picture of themselves with the filter, and that's what they want.
And that's the thing, like these filters are so damaging.
Because when you see yourself without a filter, you like almost don't recognize yourself anymore.
I swear, like when I put a filter on and then I take it off, I just hate the way I look. So I'm trying to like, sometimes I try to like honestly like address that where I force myself not to use filters as much as I want to. I really want to use a filter because obviously it just, I don't know, like
you look glamorous.
You look glam. You look, when we put those filters on and then you see yourself like that and you're like, oh, I wish I looked like that all the time. Yeah. Like I'm sure every single girl has said that when she's seen her face in a filter and it's been like, I wish I looked like that all the time.
Well, TikTok recently came out with like a filter. Do you remember that filter?
Oh, the bold
filter.
Bold glamour or something like that.
Yeah, bold glamour. It's so funny. So we both put it on each other.
Insane.
You loved the way you looked on it and I hated it because some people really like, I could see some people looked phenomenal. Not say they didn't look phenomenal before, but you know, like it really gave them like a bold glamour, like the name.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I can imagine people who, I'm so happy I hated it because I don't know what it would have done to my self-esteem if I'd loved it.
Yeah.
Because some people you could tell they were like, oh my God, I want to look like this all the time. Like, what surgery do I have to do? What makeup do I have to do to look like this?
Like at this point, makeup is not even enough, that you have to go through cosmetic procedures. Like I remember there was a time, like obviously I used to beat my face every single day. I used to do like full glam beat every single day. Am I boring you?
No. You know I didn't like literally sleep. And I bled
yawning in the middle of me talking.
I'm tired.
Oh, I'm tired.
I'm literally limping. Be nice to me. I'm a victim. 10 minutes, eh?
I could not go out without a full beat. I would go literally to the grocery store and I would be like, I need to do a full beat.
I'm a celebrity that's going to be photographed in paparazzi. I gotta look amazing at all times.
No, people can't look at me. But then I'm also extreme. And then I went through a phase where I was like, I don't care.
I am never putting makeup on my face again.
No, I started
I am gonna rot.
I'm not even gonna wash my face.
I said rot. I said what I said.
Rotten. Not even brush my teeth.
Burn all beauty product. Burn my shampoo.
And be like, you should love me for my personality.
You should love me for my whiteheads.
Let's get one thing straight. Like being well groomed is completely different than like unrealistic beauty standards. Like, please have good personal hygiene, brush your teeth, shower, wash your hair, like
condition,
lather,
scrape your tongue. No, but I people should scrape their tongues more.
Really.
That is checked out. That's done.
But yeah, let's also talk about Photoshop.
Yeah. Back to the topic at hand.
Back to the topic, but scrape your tongues. Yeah, because nobody wants bad breath. But yeah, like before filters, there was also Photoshop, which you also still see Photoshop today.
So like right before filters, there was Photoshop, but we weren't as exposed, I think, because we'd see it just mainly in magazines or ads or whatever. And I think
also because Photoshop was not really a skill that anybody could acquire, whereas now everybody.
And we knew, like every campaign, we knew it was Photoshop, like it was fine, whatever. And I think now it's not the same because we're constantly, every single
even
picture
when
we
you
see,
know it's Photoshop,
you still feel bad by yourself.
It just like still does something because you see it. Like obviously they're telling you,
and you're on your phone all day.
Better, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that really bothered me, I remember, remember Khloe Kardashian when her grandma posted a picture of her in a bikini, and then it went viral, and she scrubbed the internet to take it down, and then she posted something where she was like, I'm confident, you know, like being natural, I don't always Photoshop my pictures and blah blah blah. And then she was like, as a retaliation, she's like, here, these are unphotoshopped pictures, and it was like really like dim lighting and like cute poses and stuff like that. I love her. I know she was trying to be real, but that was not it, girl. I would have appreciated it more if she had owned that picture.
You know what's sad? She didn't even look bad.
She did not. I thought she looked so cute.
Yeah.
Honestly. Actually, Khloe was my favorite. Now it's a toss up between Khloe and Kourtney. I love Kourtney. Kourtney's monotone.
Kourtney. We have to have a whole episode dedicated to our love of Kourtney Kardashian talking.
I'm speaking like Kourtney.
Yeah, like she doesn't care. Yeah. I'm so happy right now. I wish but you know what? I really wish I was more like her, because she really doesn't care. Yeah. She does not care. She really doesn't. She honestly, like, she's been through things with her ex. But yeah, other episode. I Heart Kourtney Kardashian, the full 1 hour episode.
Seriously, we need that.
But yeah, it's sad, because I think, you know, she also had a lot of allegedly work done in order to sort of be happier, because the media kept comparing her to Kim and Kourtney, who are so much shorter than her, and just different.
And why were we comparing?
It's so cruel.
Why were we comparing?
They look nothing alike.
And like now people are giving her shit for like doing all that work done. So what do you want her to do?
You did this to her.
You did this to her. What do you want her to do? Insane. And that's the thing, and that's why like I try to like just block it out, and I'm like I honestly like love Ashley Graham. You know how much I'm like an Ashley Graham stan, and one thing I loved about her is like we were talking about this, like when she would sit or she would do anything, she was just so confident, and she wasn't like worried about like a little like back fat showing here or whatever there, and she would just own it. And that's one thing that I learned from watching Ashley Graham is like, if you can look however you want to look. Like I am insecure about certain things about my body, but I will sit there and I will own it, and I will like be like, I am confident, I don't care. And you know, sometimes I look at it after and it bothers me, but then I remind myself, I'm like,
if Ashley Graham likes herself, I have to like myself. Ashley Graham bought a pink t-shirt, so I bought a pink t-shirt.
No, but honestly, seeing her on Sports Illustrated, I was telling you the other day, that was life-changing. Yeah. That was one of the best moments, and I think it was empowering, like for a lot of us like curvier women. There's a lot to talk about in this conversation. I think there's also a lot of points we didn't cover. We definitely gonna have to do another episode.
No, but I think this is definitely a part one, and I want to have a man here. I also want to have another girl that looks, you know, different to us. I want to have, you know, like I want to have as much variety as possible, because I know I can't speak for a lot of people, you know. And I spoke on this, I think briefly, but I do think like there's sort of like a shame on women after they give birth of like, how fast did she lose weight?
Oh my god.
Or she lost weight too fast, she's not taking care of her kid. It's like I definitely think we're gonna have to have like a whole episode dedicated to like motherhood and all of that. But I think for me, coming out of this episode, it's like, let's just stop commenting on people.
Just stop.
Like on their physical attributes.
Really, enough. Honestly, just look at yourself in the mirror.
If you're 100% satisfied, if you don't have any complaints, I think then you can start looking at other people. Just
honestly,
yeah, like let's just
just stop. It's not helping you. It's not helping others. Honestly, if anything, you're just projecting your own insecurities onto other people. So it says more about you.
What Susie says about Sally says more about Susie than Sally.
And that's on period. And I think that's a good point to wrap up this episode. We definitely will have more to say about it.
If you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe, share to your mom. This is mom friendly.
It is mom friendly. Yeah.
Tell your mom to stop commenting on your body too while she's at it. Yeah. I'm sure she does that.
I'm sure all moms do that. Mom, stop commenting on my body.
Mom, I love you.
I love you. And And that's a wrap. Bye, guys.
Bye.